this short video we're going to be investigating how we solve the following quadratic equation. You've probably seen before how we solve quadratic equations. We could factorise them, complete the square, or we can use the quadratic formula. Well, looking at this, I can't see any way of factorising it, so I'm going to use the quadratic formula. So let's write down what the quadratic formula tells us. It tells us x, the solution to our quadratic equation, is equal to minus b plus or minus square root of b squared minus 4ac, and then that's all divided by 2a. Now remember, a is the coefficient of the x squared term, so in our case a is equal to 1. We've only got x squared, that really means 1x squared, but we don't normally include that, so a is 1. B is the coefficient of x, and don't forget we have to include the sign as well, so we can see b is minus 4. And c is the constant term, so in this example the constant term is 13. So we have our values of a, b and c, so all we have to do is substitute them into the quadratic formula and hopefully find the solution to our quadratic equation. So let's see what we get. We've got x is equal to minus b, so that's minus 4. Remember, when we put a negative number in, we should always put brackets around it. Plus or minus the square root of b squared, that's minus 4 squared, minus 4 lots of a times c, so minus 4, a is 1, and c is 13. And that's all divided by 2 lots of a, 2 lots of 1 is just 2. So, let's work out what's under the square root. We have minus minus, so that's just 4. But what have we got under that square root term? Well, we've got minus 4 squared, which is 16. And we've got minus 4 times 1 is 4. And then 4 times 13 is 52. And that's all divided by 2. So let's just finish off working out what we've got under this square root. So we've still got our 4 plus or minus, and then we have 16 minus 52, which I believe is going to give us minus 36. And that is all divided by 2. Now, you probably recall from maybe when you did your GCSEs or A levels, when you get a negative number under your square root, you're told there's no real solutions. And there are indeed no real solutions to this equation. But if we think about complex number, what can we do with the square root of minus 36? Well, let's just consider it over here for a second. Square root of minus 36. Well, what can we do with that? We can say this is square root of minus 1 multiplied by the square root of 36. Well, square root of minus 1, you should recall, is j. And square root of 36, well, that's just 6. So instead of having square root of minus 36 and saying, oh, there's no solution there, we can use our knowledge of complex numbers and write it as 6j, or j times 6. So let's come back to here. We actually have 4 plus or minus 6j, or j times 6, all over 2. And 2 can divide into the 4 and into the 6 to leave us with 2 plus or minus 3j, or j times 3. And this here is the solution to our quadratic equation. We actually have 2. We have, say, z1, which is 2 plus 3j, or j times 3, and z2, which is 2 minus 3j, or j times 3. And you can see here that they are complex conjugates of each other. And that always happens when we solve in quadratic equations and we get complex solutions. You will always have answers that are complex conjugates of each other. Thank you for watching.